Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Dodo and I am a romance reader, primarily sharing what I read on the internet, including on this channel, but I am also an artist and like to share my other hobbies as well, such as sewing, crocheting, and a lot of other digital art stuff. I thought this introduction was pretty fitting for the topic that I wanted to discuss today, which was artistic integrity, and this conversation is inspired by an allegation that was made about a popular book cover artist that primarily does romance book covers, and the allegation that they use AI in their art. This video is going to be kind of more of like a rambling video because I have a lot of thoughts and they're not necessarily the most organized on this topic specifically, but it's something that I've kind of wanted to talk about for a while, and this is more of like a conversation that I'm having with myself, and then I'm going to post it onto the internet for everyone to kind of weigh in on what their thoughts and feelings are about it. But I do want to preface this video by saying that I am staunchly against AI art, generative AI in creative spaces in general as well. Like, I don't think that there is a place for generative AI to exist where creatives exist as well. I don't think you can create art with AI. And I want to make my stance super clear in just the beginning of this video because it seems that a lot of people don't have that same integrity when it comes to their art. And I just want to make sure that everyone knows that what page I'm on so that we're on the same page when we have this discussion. And out of respect to the person that came forward with the allegation, I am not going to share the specific situation that I'm talking about because I want to respect that person. They deleted their post, and so I don't want to bring more attention to it, so I won't be talking about it. But I will still be talking about AI art, what that does to artists, and why I think you have no artistic integrity if you use AI in your art. First, I'll just go over like a general overview of AI art and how it pertains to the romance book community. We've seen a rise of people creating accounts in the past to share AI generated art, and like I use art very loosely because I don't think it's art in the first place. At first, it started off with people creating accounts to use generative AI to create character art of their favorite characters from their favorite books, and at the time authors were resharing it, maybe not realizing that it was AI generated or not caring. And then a lot of people, specifically artists in general, came forward and said, hey guys, here's why AI art is super harmful to us as artists. And with all the information that we have about AI art, I think it's very obvious to say that we are all in agreement that yes, AI is very detrimental to artists. The thing with AI generated art is that it has a very distinct look that is almost impossible to overlook. Like, once you start to peek and see the similarities between what all of the AI generated art looks like, it's really easy to spot. And it seems that a lot of artists have tried to use AI and cover up the fact that they're using AI, not be super forthcoming with that information, and it leads to situations where it comes out and the person has to deny it, and then we have a loss of trust in that particular artist, which means that their integrity has been like blown to smithereens. You are no longer somebody that can be trusted in the art community and in the author community specifically, because authors are commissioning you to create covers for their books / character art to represent the characters in their books. And because AI art has seemed to have such a chokehold on a lot of people, artists have to be super forthcoming about, hey, I'm anti-AI, I don't use AI in my art. And it's really sad because we have situations where if somebody's not being super forthcoming about the use of AI, then we get into situations where authors are paying for art that they did not realize had AI in it. And a lot of those authors wouldn't have used that person's services in the first place if they knew that it was AI generated. Like, I know a lot of authors who have had to deal with the situation of AI stealing their written work, so like their novels, which is their art, and it's so disheartening. And I know that they wouldn't have supported the use of AI art in their book cover. Needless to say, this got me thinking about artistic integrity and what that means and how we can define it as artists. I'm somebody who has dabbled in digital art before. Other forms of art that I dabble in would be fiber arts, so sewing and crocheting, and then eventually I want to learn how to knit. That is more up my alley and something that I've practiced for a lot longer. I've been sewing since I was 10 years old and I'm 26, so 16 years worth of sewing experience that I've developed over the years. I've developed different skills over the years to align with different products or different things that I want to create. So for example, I make my own Halloween costumes as shown here. A lot of it comes from sewing patterns, and then I use my own knowledge to construct the work, and then I will like freestyle some parts of it because the tutorial didn't have like what I wanted, or I just wanted to change things about it. I do consider my sewing to be a form of artistic expression. I think that even if I'm using a sewing pattern that I did not create myself. I think other aspects of that can be creative. The reason I like sewing so much is because there's a technical aspect to it and then a creative side to it. So like you can be very technically sound in construction of clothing and other sewn pieces, and then there's a creative side to it. So I think I've gotten really good at both sides of it, of using my creativity to create something beautiful and then using my more technical knowledge to then create it. A lot of times it comes up with an idea and then we use the skills that I know to create a final product. And I've always loved that form of art is something that you can like physically touch, see, and hold in your hands, and it's very valuable to me in those skills that I have harnessed over the years. No, that is a sewing machine. Cats don't sew. And then other forms of digital art that I partake in. Specifically, I'm holding a bookmark that I've created. I have a bookmark club that I run on my Ko-fi, where every single month the members of the bookmark club get a bookmark sent to them. And this is fully done on my iPad. I draw it on my iPad and then I print them out and I construct them at my home studio. Everything that I create on my iPad is not AI generated. This is one of the bookmarks that I've created for my bookmark club. I also create book journal pages for my digital book journal, and I use those aspects to then create Instagram posts. So I have had a lot of digital art experience just over the years of running my Bookstagram. So everything you see on my Instagram is completely created by me. And this is just my very long-winded way of saying that I dabble in a lot of different mediums of art, and in every single one, AI has never been present. And I think over the years, I've really struggled with my own artistic expression, because a lot of times, like especially with sewing and more like physical art mediums, is that you can technically not use any artistry at all, because you can just use a tutorial and then create something. And I think I've always tried to do a good mix of both. And even when I'm creating bookmarks, I sometimes have a really hard time putting a price tag on art that I create, because I don't know what it's worth to other people. I sometimes think that it's not worth anything, and that's why my bookmark club is only like $2.50 a month, because I don't know how to price something that I created, especially when I started in the beginning. Like I had no bookmarks to show for, so it was really hard for me to decide how much I wanted to charge for that. I can rest in the knowledge that everything I create is not used by AI, and with that, there's value to that. And that's where I think artistic integrity comes in aspects to my own artistry, because I can only really speak for myself. I can't speak for other artists, because that term can be defined differently to everybody. The thing about artistic integrity is there's just no one definition of the term. It's kind of open to interpretation and means something differently to other artists. So when I personally think about artistic integrity in relation to my own art, I view it as something, can you stand behind your art 100%, knowing that you were the only person that created it and you used your own imagination behind it and your own artistic skills to create that work. Now, I have Google in front of me, because other people define artistic integrity differently. A lot of times people will say that you have no artistic integrity if you are creating art for things that you do not believe in, if the inspiration behind the work wasn't something that you aligned with personally in your own beliefs, but still working on that art anyway because it gives you some kind of financial benefit, you would lack artistic integrity. When I talk about artistic integrity and like the way I view it in front of AI art, like if we're talking about AI art and why I think you lack artistic integrity / have zero artistic integrity if you use AI, is because of the deceptive nature of how you're using it. A lot of artists aren't as forthcoming with their use of AI art, and so then when it's later discovered or that they have this like allegation against them, your integrity gets blown up because nobody can trust you because you're trying to tell us that you didn't use AI. But the art does speak for itself, unfortunately. Like, I'm sorry, like there are people that point out like the hands, because like AI art cannot generate hands very well, and so it's like, hey, look at the hand, like it's literally missing an entire finger. Like this is right completely gone, and that's not by design of the character. That is literally because AI didn't create it, and the person who was overseeing the art didn't think like, hey, shit, maybe I should make sure that my hands have all 5 fucking fingers. And that's just like one example of a really easy tell on how to figure out whether something is AI art or not. And something that has been like rattling around in my brain is that as an artist, your reputation is everything. Like if something gets in the way of your reputation as an artist, people are never going to book you again. You're going to be out of a job. And I think that's where a lot of us are kind of feeling like, hey, we have been deceived and we didn't realize that something was AI generated, and you didn't say that it was, or that you used AI in your process. So now that we feel a little bit like taken advantage of, or we were duped, deceived, however you want to phrase it, that person's reputation is like total shit now. And you're probably never going to get booked again. And especially if that person isn't like, I don't know, trying to disprove it in any way other than like, hey guys, I swear it's not AI. I don't use AI. But like, can you explain all the things that people have been pointing out about your art? Why does the face look identical across the board? I think overall, when we talk about artistic integrity and what it means to be an artist, everyone defines that differently. But I think something that we can all agree on is that AI has no space in creative work. And if you use generative AI in your work, I don't think I can call you an artist. And it sucks that we even have to categorize art as human made in the fucking first place. I should never have to question whether art is human made. And that's kind of where we're at right now. And it just makes it so hard to see somebody succeed using shortcuts like AI. If you're just not talented as an artist, that's okay. You can get better at art. Art is not something that you inherently have as a skill or as a talent. Everything that I have learned over the years, I've gotten better at. Like, you only get better at skills that you practice every single day. No shit, right? So it's just super disheartening to see somebody try to take shortcuts, because if there's anything that I've learned about witnessing the use of AI in the art space, is that you're just trying to look for a quick way to create something. Like, you don't care about the process of it. And I think that's where I become super angry about it. Like, I get genuinely pissed off because you're trying to take a shortcut while there is something so beautiful in the process of creating art. Like, I think that's where art becomes valuable to others, is when they know how much time, effort, and skill went into something that you created. So the fact that somebody's out here trying to sell AI slosh as their own artwork, as something that they created completely by themselves, is bananas. And I think that that's where a lot of us get frustrated, because it has taken me years to get to the point where I feel comfortable selling my art in any capacity, i.e. bookmark club or like bookmark commissions to authors. Like, these are just really small ways where I think I'm ready for the monetization part of my art journey. And like, even then, I still think I'm not good enough. And so it's like so aggravating as somebody who like wants to sell their art in some capacity to see somebody who uses AI and become very successful from that. And it's unfortunate that somebody who was very much admired lost the trust of every person that was a fan of that art. Anyways, as a little treat, in case you've made it to the end of this video and you heard me rant, a conversation I wish I didn't have to fucking have. Artist reveal. Yes, I do own something from the alleged AI cover artist, and I have to live with that. A lot of thoughts in my head, but if you know, you know. It's tough for artists in this very moment, knowing that shit like this can happen and that people can get away with it, and that it can be really hard to detect. Love you all. Thank you for being here. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe to my channel. Love you guys. Bye.